The Mickey Stines deposition for the Letcher County sextortion scandal has finally been released. The sextortion case alleges that higher-ups in the Letcher County court system were aware of the SA of people in the home arrest with ankle monitoring system, and many have speculated that this may be directly related to Mickey Stines taking the life of his best friend, Judge Kevin Mullins. This deposition took place on September 16th, 2024, and it's a long read. And there's a lot of deflection from Mickey Stines and a lot of dodging questions, vague answers, but I carefully looked for any clues that may point to a motive. Now, viewer discretion is advised for the upcoming content. There's text messages that are graphic in nature. There's pictures that are graphic in nature. And we're going to take a deep dive into what I feel is relevant and cut out all of the unnecessary fluff. September 19th, 2024, 3 days after that deposition, then Sheriff Mickey Stines walked into his good buddy's chambers, Judge Kevin Mullins, and took his life. So let's dive into this. First, I'm going to let you hear what the attorney says about that for the plaintiffs and what Mickey's attorney says about this deposition.
We wonder, was there a connection between the ongoing lawsuit we filed and the timing of all this?
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Yeah, it's but just only 10 seconds because that's all the time we've got. But was the sheriff at all agitated during the deposition, defensive, angry?
Probably all of those.
The timing of the deposition, amongst other things and other background information that will complete that story. But I do, yes, to answer your question, I do believe that that is a piece. This is a large story.
When I reviewed this deposition, I was looking for primarily these three things that's on the screen to try to reveal what the motive was for the offing of Judge Mullins. Was the sextortion deposition related directly to that shooting? Also, what did Mickey Stines know and when did he become aware of it? What did Judge Mullins know and was he involved in this sextortion ring? And we're going to listen to Sabrina Adkins' audio to kind of fact check this. And we're going to look at intimate text messages that was floating around between the sheriff and all of the deputies. And then, the actual deposition, we're going to go over that. So let's dive in. The plaintiffs in this sextortion case, for lack of a better term, are on the screen at this current time. You'll see Sabrina Adkins and the state of Jennifer Hill because she has passed away. They were both on the home arrest with ankle monitoring with the Eastern Kentucky Correctional Systems program. The people present at this deposition were, of course, Mickey Stines and Miss Baxter, who was representing Sabrina and Jennifer Hill, and Mr. Shaw and Mr. Dotson on behalf of the Sheriff's Department and Mickey. The questioning began with information about Mickey's background, his previous employment. 2001, he was with the Fleming Police Department as a patrol officer, was laid off. Then he went to Letcher County in 2002 and was grandfathered in. So he had very minimal training. Well, aside from physical training, literally no training. And they discussed that the reason Mickey gets frustrated and confused a little bit is that he has California encephalitis. And they explain that that is something that you can get from ticks and what have you. They also go on to discuss the lack of department procedures in place while Mickey is the sheriff. And they also want to make certain that Mickey understands all of the policies and procedures for the Sheriff's Department. I really didn't find anything in this part of the deposition that will provide any clues for us. It really just indicated that Mickey was not trained for the position that he carried. After several breaks and lots of deflection from Mickey when asked direct questions, the questioning takes an interesting turn when Miss Baxter asks if Mickey has ever been accused of workplace sexual harassment. And Mickey does answer no to that. They start discussing Mickey's training for the ankle monitoring system. And essentially, there was no training aside from he was taught how to hook up the ankle bracelets and accept the money for the inmates that were on that program. They also discussed Mickey's training of Ben Fields for the ankle monitoring system. And essentially, it was the same. He taught Ben Fields what he knew, which was very limited, and really no training as far as policies or how they should be documenting these things. Then they get into the pay structure for EKCS. And guys, this was a cash cow for the people involved in it. As you'll see upcoming, I've included a clip where Mickey's discussing how much money they get paid. Let's take a look at that. As you can see here, Mickey's answering the question about the pay structure, and he says, it's contract labor. I believe once a month I would get a certain amount of commission, and then at the end of the year, I would get a 1099. And Miss Baxter asked, so you were paid on commission? He answered, yes. She said, do you recall how that commission was calculated? Mickey answered, per person, that was on I got $3 a day and $25 for a hookup. Now, she goes on to ask him about annually, how much is that? And they start comparing that to what Ben Fields had earned and reported annually, which was $30,000. Mickey says, yes, he's made that amount, but it does vary. I mean, it's really in their best interest to keep people in these programs when they're getting that kind of money. Let's continue. Guys, when we got to this part of the deposition, I literally about fell out of my chair. They questioned Mickey about the hiring of Ben Fields, being aware of his lie detector results prior to hire. They went into the inappropriate text messages and retaliation for filing complaints against anyone in the sheriff's department, and then the firing of Ben Fields. All I can say is this totally blew my mind, so let's jump right into that lie detector test. Baxter starts asking Mickey about Ben's employment history and the documentation that he had provided them. And she asked him, does he see where Ben has openly admitted that he has at least on one occasion consumed alcohol while on the job? And Mickey deflects that with, I don't recall. Ms. Baxter follows up with, within these documents that you provided, do you recall seeing an admission by Mr. Fields that while he was employed at the Letcher County Jail, he engaged in sexual contact during work hours at the detention center? Ms. Baxter goes on to ask Mickey if these admissions were red flags in hiring Ben Fields. And Mickey replied, they sent a report saying they are suitable for the job. I've got reports that says is not suitable for the job. So I took it as the state recommendation that he pass their exam. So there's the little trick. As long as you fess up to all this inappropriate behavior and you don't lie during the lie detector test, you get a pass their exam, and then you can be hired as deputy in Letcher County. This is ridiculous. Okay, let's continue with these inappropriate text messages next. In the deposition, they reference a social media group, I think it was Facebook, but I'm not certain at this point, that the sheriff and the deputies had, and it was called the Fat Boys. And when she asked him, why is it named that? Or was it named Mickey's Boys? Mickey replied, well, look at us, referring to the fact that all of them seemed to be overweight. And within this group, they shared truly inappropriate messages back and forth, messages about strip clubs, messages indicating that they had, broken windows or left notes on inmates' automobiles that were out on home arrest, that the sheriff appreciates your support. Then they backtracked that and said that that was just a joke and did not happen. It was really like a frat boy organization between the sheriff and the deputies. And Miss Baxter starts reading from this deposition, and she says, okay, it looks like Jason Eccles sends an image with a joke referencing penis size. Is that accurate? Looking at the second page. And Mickey responds, yes. And when she asked him, why would you send messages like this? Mickey just literally indicates that, they're just goofing around. They're being childish. They're blowing off steam. But it doesn't appear to be that case.
Some videotapes of some stuff in the judge's chambers.
What kind of stuff?
Just with girls sexual and stuff.
What describe? Have you seen the videos?
I've seen one partly in, just them having sex with girls for their bail to get out of jail.
Who was having sex?
Ben and just some higher ups up there.
Who?
The judge and.
You saw the video.
Yeah.
What did you see on the video? I mean,
I've seen Judge Mullins having sex with a girl.
Who was the girl?
I don't know, because I don't know a lot of people from over.
Where was it at?
In his office, in the judge's chambers.
Is that the same place that you were meeting Ben? Is that how you know it was the judge's chambers? And this was Judge who?
Mullins. Some videotapes.
In this deposition, Mickey became aware of the complaint against Ben Fields when a reporter phoned the sheriff's department. However, there's also mention of retaliation and no documentation on these prior complaints. In this section of the deposition, you'll see this is Mickey explaining what he did when he did become aware. And he says, he was told, do not take any information from them. We're going to talk to Kentucky State Police and see if they will investigate it. Kentucky State Police said, no, we are not going to investigate it. We work too closely with you. I don't want an investigation this magnitude done internally. So Mr. Banks said that I am going to get a hold of the AG's office. Mr. Banks told me that the Attorney General's office would take the investigation. Okay, something smells fishy here. The Kentucky State Police can't investigate the complaints against Ben Fields, but they are investigating Mickey's red rum case. Okay, let's try to answer the $1 million question next with this clip. What did Judge Mullins know, and was he involved in this sextortion scandal? Okay, guys, so at the end of the deposition, Miss Baxter says to Mickey, okay, what about Judge Mullins? Do you think he was aware? Did they tell you? Mickey answered, no, they didn't tell me. Miss Baxter said, okay, did you say earlier that they were apologizing to you? Mickey said, yes. She said, explain to me how they apologized to you. And Mickey said, they just told me they were sorry that they didn't come and tell me when they first found out about it. Okay, guys, does that not imply that the judge knew before Mickey knew? And Mickey responds again in the deposition, telling Miss Baxter that he said, yes, you should have come and told me. I'm the sheriff. Okay, and I interpreted that as Mickey was upset that he was the last one to know. Perhaps that's just my take on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Does that indicate that Judge Mullins was aware of the activities going on with Ben Fields and these inmates that were on home arrest? Guys, it's my opinion that there are a couple of pieces missing from this puzzle. But now, bear in mind, when this goes to trial, of course, we'll be privy to all the text messages that was sent between these guys and all the digital data that they'll use for evidence, as well as other parts of this initial video of Mickey Stines offing Judge Mullins that we did not get to see. So, in my opinion, things do not pass the smell test with this deposition. I don't know if that's providing a motive behind the tragedy that occurred 3 days later, but it is definitely something to think about. Guys, I appreciate you watching. If you don't mind, take a minute to like the video. It helps my little teeny tiny channel. And subscribe if you want to stay on top of these kind of cases. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.